right, 2024, a new year, and a great excuse to reboot this channel and restart it all again, but this time without perfectionism. The first half of this video is gonna sound like me rambling about an experience that I had, okay? But bear with me, because it's gonna be worth it, I promise, all right? And in the second half of the video, we're gonna do exactly what we are used to do in the Portuguese channel, okay? Being very didactic to simplify the programming for you and to really address the theme of this video, which is get rid of this horrible perfectionism. So, as everybody can tell, English is not my first language. It is Portuguese, not Spanish, okay? But Portuguese, because in Brazil we speak Portuguese, so not English. But yeah, I'm fluent. I am aware that I can make myself be understood. I can engage in complex dialogues and conversations, but I've never been abroad in my whole life, and I don't speak English on a daily basis, you know. So I was like, okay, I have to expand the message. I'm ready to start the channel after 10 years talking about this with a very clear method and a very clear message and very aware of what I teach and the importance and the changes that I see in the followers and in the students. I was like, I'm ready. This is the time. But then what happened is that I really wanted to make the first video, this channel in English perfect, okay? And I bought a teleprompter. What's the problem in using a teleprompter? No problem. So I thought it's gonna simplify my life, and indeed, I edit my own videos, right? So when I was editing, I was like, oh, so easy, because I was reading a script that, of course, I wrote myself, okay? But yeah, it was easier to edit. The whole process took me much less time than usual, but I didn't like it. And why I didn't like it? Because it was soulless. I was reading the damn thing. I'm not now. I just got rid of the teleprompter. I'm not reading. I'm talking to you through the lens, okay? Nothing in front of it, no text at all. And why did I feel the need to do things differently and not read a script, a text? Because it's not exactly what you do, but the reasons why you do something, you know. If you do something because it's gonna add to it, perfect. If you're doing something because you're afraid of other things, no good, not a good sign. Just as people that engage in a relationship not to be alone, this can't be a good reason. So yeah, I got the teleprompter, I wrote the script, I really love that text that I wrote for the first video here, and I got a very good professional, a great professional to review the text. So the text was written and then reviewed by this girl, she's amazing. And then I set everything up in the teleprompter, I read it, but when I released it, I was like, it is soulless. Because when I'm speaking with you, I'm speaking freely. I have the theme and I have some points that I want to address. For this specific video, I didn't write anything on my notes. I usually do when I have a lot of points to address, topics. But for this video, I just had the theme and one specific thing we're going to address in the second half. So I was really afraid. I was really avoiding grammar mistakes. And then when the video was released, I was like, well, it is perfect grammatically, let's say, because the text was revealed and I was reading it. I couldn't make any mistakes, right? But I wasn't expressing myself as I usually do. Because when you're reading, what is actually happening is that you're not feeling what you're saying. Because you're reading. So it's just like automatic. When you're reading a book, when you're reading anything, basically, you're reading the thing, but you don't know what will follow. You're just like letting the text pass through the screen, and then you're just following with the words. So I had to pretend that I was feeling that emotion. Guys, in one hand, I had a very grammatically perfect video. On the other hand, I was losing my self-expression, my personal qualities of a communicator, and I was losing many things. And also my outfit for the video, I like that coat. I have the coat, the jacket, I wear it, it's nice, but I wanted to make it serious. So you can see even the treatment of the video, it's much darker. I was really trying to make this video a statement, something very serious. I was afraid of not being taken seriously for a new audience, an audience that doesn't know me. And that's what perfectionism does. You get everything in detail, very correct, all right? But then you lose your soul. You lose it. And I know it may sound a bit dramatic or too much when I say it, you lose your soul. Oh, it's not because I was reading the teleprompter, but by now I'm sure you got me, right? I've already made many mistakes so far in this video, probably. In the editing, I will notice that. But I'm happy because I'm joyful as I'm speaking freely. And I'm happy because the subjective things or the less touchable, literal, visible things are more important to me. And deprogramming is all about living from within, isn't it? It's not living from the matrix. And the matrix, we're going to address what the matrix is, okay, don't worry. But generally speaking, is how the world perceives us and the programs in general. So for you to do something that is acceptable, you can't make any mistakes in the language. Well, it is impossible. I make mistakes even in Portuguese. That is a very rich language, so it's impossible that you know everything in Portuguese. So we are starting now without reading anything. There's no one reviewing the text because there is no text. I'm speaking freely as I do in the Portuguese channel. And this is me, more raw, more expressive, yes, and very much happier with this freestyle of speech. Okay, so let's address the program of perfectionism here, shall we? Lots of people tried to program you in a way, and you said, girl, I'm not going there. I don't want to. Make me, right? Or at least you didn't even care. It wasn't a thing for you. Like you have many friends that have this neuroses about this and that, or relationships, and for you it's just like, no, I don't even care about it. So when a program is installed in you by the matrix, it means that yourself is identified with it. And you're identified with the program so much that you started calling it your identity, your personality. I am a perfectionist because I like doing things this way. No. What we saw in my previous example, practical example here, I was trying to make it perfect, not because I really care about it, no, but because I was afraid of making mistakes. And every time I realize I am not the program, Every time I realize this is me, Barbara, I'm joyful, I love what I do, I really like to communicate freely, and I love myself. If I make mistakes, that's all right. I'm here for myself. So every time that I realize that this is me, I realize that this thing here that is traduced as perfectionism is actually fear. Fear. Okay, and this fear and this program was installed in me. So I get to choose a new route for myself. I can say, okay, I see you there making me robotic on camera, which I'm not, all right? And I see that this was installed in me, so I choose a different way. A way that allows my inner being to really come out. So every time you see, you catch yourself in an action that has nothing to do with you, you take a look and you say, okay, I will allow myself to doubt this action. I will now allow myself to really put some thought into it. And not to say, this is me, this is who I am. No. I was programmed to act in such a way that I am never in touch with my true self. But okay, so this is the first step. I'm not this. This is not my identity, okay? The second step is to take a look and realize that everything has a root, has a cause, has a meaning for you. So every program that you're really sticking to it has a very bad consequence. But as at the same time that this program has a bad consequence in your life, and that's why you want to uninstall it, it has something that you think or your unconscious think that is adding to you. The negative consequences of perfectionism is that you lose many things in life, you lose many opportunities, you get anxious. Everybody knows the negative consequences of a program. It's not hard to see. But why are you sticking to it? Not only because you believed this was your identity, but you really think this is protecting you from something, or this is adding you in your life. Just like getting sick is not good, but at least I'm not going to the job that I hate. So ask you these questions. First, the question of what bad consequences this is having in my life, what negative impact this is having in my life. You know, my inner and my outer life. My inner world means anxiety, feeling of not worthy and stuff. And my outer life, like I am not making any friends, I'm not going out, I'm not doing things that I like, I'm losing financial good opportunities. So take a look at the bad consequences. As I told you guys here, I took a good look and I realized, okay, perfect scripted video, flawless grammatically, but losing my personality, losing my joy in recording this, and lots of good things. So in one hand, grammar perfect, in another hand, losing many things. So this got heavier. So this is the first thing you have to analyze. What you're actually losing with the program. It's what the philosophers would do. I am a philosopher in nature. This is what deprogramming is, making the right questions, but people just don't. They believe in luck and bad luck. They believe in whatever. So now a person has already detached from this identity, okay, from the program as an identity, first step, and now they have already made this question. How are the bad impacts of it in my life? But now the third question. And if you do these three questions, but don't ever skip the third because it's really important, you will start to deprogram from perfectionism, okay, or from any limiting beliefs, all right? Which is exactly what I started saying, but then I created this huge parenthesis that I'm closing now. Guys, What is this program adding to me? What? It's protecting me? Why am I attached to this bad thing? Why? Because the bad things I already know, but what advantages do I have with this behavior? Am I ready to let go of these so-called advantages? Am I ready to? I was ready to make mistakes in English. I was ready. No problem. No problem. Problema nenhum. You know? What are you gaining with being perfectionist? Make the damn question and really see what answers you get from your subconscious. Or even do something more rational than letting your subconscious tell you if you are a rational person. I'm both. I'm very intuitive and very rational, both. So if you are a more rational person, you will want to analyze last times you were a perfectionist. Analyze it. You suffered, you struggled, you got, I don't know, burnt out by this horrible inner dialogue, this abusive self-talk. But what did you get from it? What did you get from it? Make the questions. In one hand, my ego is gaining, is victorious. In another hand, my soul is gaining a lot. And then you decide. I'd rather make my ego win every time. I don't care. You know, I want to be seen as this flawless person. So it's much more important for me to be seen by others in a way than to feel good, to enjoy my process, my creativity, to enjoy relationships. Maybe you realize that's better for you to have an ego that is happier than your soul. No problem. Nobody's judging. But this is what deprogram is. You are happy inside because you are free from this horrible self-talk, from this constant belief that you are doing something wrong. And before we close off this video, I'm going to tell you guys another key about deprogramming from perfectionism. Start working on your subliminal guilt. Okay? There is no perfectionism without a constant feeling that you're doing something wrong, that everything depends on you. So before calling yourself a control freak, start seeing yourself as a person that may have been told that is ruining everything all the time. Oh, you're good for nothing, you're ruining everything, or my life depends on you. When you are constantly listening these kind of things, and you are a child, for example, right? You grow up thinking, oh my God, everything is on me. Oh my God, I have to save the world. Oh my God. And then, yes, the consequence is that you start to get control freak. But this is not the root. The root is always something that you feel that it's good for you. If I save the world, if I save my parents from getting divorced, if I save my sibling that is ill, if I have good grades in college, everything, okay. If I look perfectly beautiful, I'll have a husband, a wife, whatever. So it's not because you are a control freak. Being a control freak is the consequence of something that you probably thought was real. How can a child save their parents' marriage, for example? Or how can your appearance be everything to have a good relationship. These things are not real. But at some point, you believed in them. And probably because you heard them from people that you really loved, or you really cared about, or you heard several times. Okay? So, treat yourself well. Make yourself these 3 questions and start this year of 2024 taking care of the subliminal guilt. You're not guilt for everything or for anything, basically. You're doing the best you can. You're a beautiful being inside and outside. And as long as you do the work to deprogram, to detach from these crappy thoughts and unreal beliefs, you will approach every time a bit more and more your true self that is totally perfect. Kisses. See you in the next video.